Здравствуйте, наши уважаемые телезрители канала KIWI-ZONE Ltd. Мы рады вас приветствовать из города Гамильтон. И сегодня у нас есть для вас сюрприз. Дело в том, что вот по отзывам, по запросам, которые идут из России и стран СНГ, большое количество IT-специалистов, которые связаны с разработкой сайтов и так далее. И вы знаете, мы хотели бы сделать для вас сюрприз и поговорить с вашими будущим потенциальным работодателем, который находится в Новой Зеландии, даже не в городе Окленд, что интересно и примечательно, а в городе Гамильтон, который находится в 100 километрах от города Окленд. И мы считаем, что для вас было бы очень интересно послушать это интервью с владельцем компании, с менеджером компании, который любезно согласился с нами пообщаться и рассказать про нюансы трудоустройства и особенности рынка IT. Давайте начнем, пожалуй. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Can I ask you to introduce yourself for our viewers? What's your name, what's your company, and what's your position here? What do you do here?
Sure. My name's Merth. I'm the general manager of E9, which is a design and front-end development business. What's my role here? We're a small company, so apart from managing the day-to-day, my job involves ensuring my staff are doing well.
So are you a manager?
Yeah.
Manager. And are you a partner or owner of this company?
No, just a manager.
Just a manager. So you usually hire people, employees for your company as well?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm the final decision maker.
A final decision maker, okay. And how many employees do you have in your company?
Oh, we're quite small, so we've got myself and 4 others.
4.
Yeah.
I think it's a normal situation for New Zealand business to have such number of employees in company. Am I right?
Yeah, actually I think about 97% or so are small businesses, and small businesses here are businesses which have, I believe, under 5 people.
Under 5, so you're like a normal business for New Zealand. So what do you do? What's your job? What services do you provide for your customers?
So everything from creating brands to developing web presence, so their websites, integrations with customer relationship management applications, e-commerce websites, developing front ends for other businesses that are developing applications.
And who's your customers? Where are they from? New Zealand or United States?
So we've done work for a bunch. So our largest customer is Cisco in the US. Our smallest customer is a bed and breakfast down the road, which is owned by like an elderly husband and wife. So yeah.
And what did you do for them?
Oh, we made their website. For Cisco, we redesigned the interface for one of their internal applications.
And who are your employees? Are they New Zealanders or foreigners?
Actually, it's funny. So I've got one English staff member who is a senior developer. My senior designer is Iranian. My lead developer is Kiwi, and my junior developer is Kiwi.
So it's like an international team.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think it's normal for New Zealand as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so can you give us your opinion? Is it hard to find a job here for IT specialists?
So I think I'll start by saying that it's hard to find a job regardless of where you are, right? It doesn't matter what country you are. But what is certain is that in New Zealand there is a definite skill shortage for senior level positions. So there's plenty of junior developers, for example, but there aren't enough senior developers. There's plenty of business analysts, but there aren't senior business analysts.
But what do you mean? What do you mean senior?
So seniority is it's experience. It's about experience. It's about how much experience they have and what kind of projects they've worked on. From our perspective, a developer who's just come out of university has no work experience. They will take a long time to comprehend a problem, to analyze it, to break it down, to understand the complexity. That's the first part. And the second part is, as a result of that, their estimations for how long it'll take for them to do a job are always inaccurate, you know. But now, after about 5 years of working in that job or in that industry, they have a much better understanding of the complexities that are involved. They're much more better at analyzing the problem and understanding how everything fits together, which means when they then come back and they give us an estimate, we have a good idea that they're quite close to where they need to be. And that makes a huge difference in terms of calculating costs and just making sure that, you know, the company is being successful in terms of actually earning what it's working for. But it also means that we can provide clients with the soft skills. And with soft skills, this is something that you learn over time. So juniors have either they are good developers or they are communicators, but it is very rare that we see someone who can do development and also has the soft skills of talking to the client, communicating properly.
So it's important.
It's very important.
You told us about experience. Usually people from Russia, they already have experience, very good experience, several years, 5 years, 10 years. Can they apply for a senior programmist in your company, for example? Is it possible? Or you mean experience in New Zealand? What is the most important thing?
So, okay, experience on the job is the most important thing, right? However, having experience in New Zealand is also important. So, let me give you an example. Let's say you are a senior project manager. You've worked for over a decade. You're exceptional at your job, but you don't know any English. Or you find it very difficult to communicate in English. Well, that becomes a problem. And it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have if there's a language barrier. So I think there's little things like, well, language is a big thing, but there's also the cultural norms, being acclimatized to how Kiwis work and think. I think that's quite important, especially when you're dealing with people. It's important to know what is normal for them and what is not normal for them, you know. But the first thing that we'll look at is what kind of projects have you worked on already, and how many years have you been doing this work for, you know, because that's the most important thing.
So English, knowledge of English it should be the most important thing. It doesn't matter how experienced the person, if he cannot speak English, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yes.
The simple answer is yes. Yeah. There's varying degrees of it, right? So, for example, if someone who is absolutely perfect with their English, that means that we can put them in front of a customer, right? But if someone's English is not that good, that means that we keep them in the office, and they can communicate with us, but not directly with the customer. The problem is that when you have someone whose English is not good, that means that all of the communication that needs to go out of the company needs to go through someone whose English is good. Which, when your company is small,
extra work.
It's a lot of extra work, which is why language skills is important.
And what's the difference in income, if we talk about the money, wages? The difference with the person who can communicate with the native speakers, or who is sitting in the office and just doing his work?
It depends. It really depends on what kind of role they have. So, for example, if they are, if by experience they are a senior developer, because they don't have the English skills, they would be working as almost an intermediate developer, and that obviously is going to affect the salary. So yeah, it's the equivalent of taking a step down.
Step down, okay. And how much do you usually pay for such positions, if it's not a secret? Maybe not in your company exactly, but in general.
I think a good indicator would be, so there's sites online. If you give me a moment.
Careers in Z, no?
No. If you give me a moment, I'll find it.
Yep.
I can then tell you. Pay scale.
Pay what?
Pay scale.
Pay scale.
Mm.
Pay scale. Okay.
Pay scale.
So it's
So-
about 65, 70 per year.
So the average salary for, yeah, I think if you're talented and at senior level, then you should at least be looking at over 60 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really depends in which part of the country you work.
What's the difference between cities?
Oh, huge difference. So when we think of IT, there's three main places. So there's Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch.
Mm-hmm.
So Hamilton is not in the top three, but it's slowly getting there. But if you're working in Auckland, you'll get paid quite a bit more. But then you'll also spend quite a bit more
Mhm.
living in Auckland. So yeah, the pay does differ based on what city you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're in Auckland, where there's 25% of the population, your pay is much higher.
Okay. So how do you think? Is it easy for students who just graduated to find a job in such companies?
Right. So I know quite a few students who all came to New Zealand at the same time as me, and almost all of them have secured a job. But that's an entry-level job, and an entry-level job has a different dynamic altogether. But the guys who were good developers got development jobs. The guys who were just starting out got support analyst jobs, you know. The fact of the matter is that, and well, I believe this, that if you have the skill and you have the ability to work hard, then I think the simplest answer is yes. Nothing's easy in life.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, nothing's easy in life, but if it's a lot more accessible over here, just because of the shortage.
Okay. And what do you think about IT specialists from Russia? Have you ever tried to work with them?
I haven't. No.
No?
I haven't.
Maybe you heard
Just
something
not had the
about-
chance.
Maybe you heard something about them.
Well,
Opinions?
I did have I did have a chat with a gentleman. So look, at the end of the day, from when I was in school, I had a Russian classmate, and she was exceptional at math. And I know that, like, in general, there's good emphasis put on the maths and the sciences in Russia. So I think, in terms of the foundation that is there, it's a good foundation. The analytical skills that are built in you from your young age can only be good for you when you get into IT, you know, because your math, it's an emphasis. Your science, it's an emphasis. The requirement to think logically and break problems down, it all starts quite young. So, yeah, I think, yeah, it'd be quite cool, actually. Yeah.
Would you hire a Russian IT specialist for your company?
If there was a need and if the candidate met the requirement, then
Why
there's
not?
no reason why not. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
what do you think about part-time job? For example, he is studying at the university and he has ability to work legally for 20 hours a week. Will you hire him?
So again, if there's a need, then yes. So we have internship programs for students who are trying to get experience. But that's different from, yeah, so we've got internship programs for students who are trying to get experience, because obviously being a small company, you can always use the extra hand, and in return for their time the student gets experience and exposure to working in the country, right? The positions are open to Kiwi students and internationals, and yeah, when there's a need we look, and when there's no need we just, well, we're constantly looking, you know, because you never know when you'll find someone who's going to be really good. Yeah, but yeah, of course, if there's ever a need, then there's no reason why not to. I think for students who are coming here, I think a very important thing is to get your English down, you know. That's really, really important. And I think, well, my personal feeling, if you work hard and you have a dream and you understand the fact that you're moving to a new country where you know no one, you have no friends, everything is new, and you acknowledge that that's going to be difficult and challenging, and you're prepared to kind of power through that and keep going, then nothing is impossible. So.
Что ж, давайте скажем спасибо за такое интересное интервью нашему другу. И пожелаем ему удачи, и приезжайте в Новую Зеландию. Теперь вы знаете, что, пожалуй, самое важное – это знание английского языка, ничего не бояться и стремиться к своей цели. Счастливо, спасибо, thank you.
Thank you.